In the 1960s, as drugs became a symbol of youthful rebellion, social upheaval, and political dissent, the government of the United States requested scientific research to evaluate their medical safety and efficacy. In June 1971, President Nixon declared a war on drugs. He drastically increased the size and presence of federal drug control agencies. Nixon temporarily placed marijuana in the most restrictive category of drugs. However, between 1973 and 1977, 11 states decriminalized marijuana possession. In October 1977, the Senate Judiciary Committee voted to decriminalize possession of up to an ounce of marijuana for personal use. Within just a few years, however, everything was different. Proposals to decriminalize marijuana were abandoned as parents became increasingly concerned about high rates of teen marijuana use.
The presidency of Ronald Reagan marked the start of a very long period for huge incarceration rates, largely thanks to the unprecedented expansion of the drug war. The number of people behind bars for nonviolent drug offenses went from 50,000 in 1980 to over 400,000 by 1997. Soon after Ronald Reagan took office in 1991, his wife Nancy Reagan began a highly publicized anti-drug campaign. You know, the one where she was like, "Just say no." This set the stage for zero-tolerance policies implemented in the mid to late 1980s. Although Bill Clinton advocated for treatment instead of incarceration during his 1992 presidential campaign, after a few months in the White House, he reverted back to the same drug strategies of his Republican predecessors by continuing to escalate the drug war. Now we're going to head around campus and see how our fellow students feel about the drug war.
My name is Andres, and I'm going to ask her a couple questions on the war on drugs. Alright, so what do you know exactly about the war on drugs?
Well, I know some things, like I just know that it criminalizes drugs and tries to stop the importation of illegal drugs from it.
Yeah, that is right. Now I have one more question for you. Do you think as a nation we succeeded with this war?
No, I don't think so, because I think there's still drugs and being imported into America, and I do think that people are still addicts. It still affects people.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Alright, I'm here with Jeffrey, and I'm going to ask him a couple questions on the war on drugs. So what exactly do you know about the war on drugs in this nation?
Well, I know that there's still a lot of drugs in the streets. I see it all the time in my neighborhood. I know the DA is trying to do the best they can, but it's kind of hard to stop it.
So that leads me to my next question. Do you think we've come close to eradicating the problem, or do you think it's still...
No, it's nowhere near close. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done, but the way I see it is, if the United States could put a man on the moon, I think they could do that if they wanted to.
Yeah. So are you saying, like, we're not doing this on purpose? Like,
no, what I'm saying is that they should put more emphasis onto it. They should allocate more resources towards the war on drugs. I don't think we have enough.
Right. Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate
problem.
it, boss. I appreciate it.
As you can see, from student to student, the ideas on the war on drugs are very broad, and everybody has their own opinion on it. But the facts are, the U.S. spends around $51 billion on the war on drugs annually. $51 billion that could be used for schools, roads, even rehabilitation centers for the said criminals. But instead, the government uses that money to jail the junkies. Just in 2013, 1.5 million people were arrested on nonviolent drug charges. That's about 1 in every 110 adults, the highest incarceration rate in the world. Obviously, this isn't working. For too long, policymakers have been using prohibition as a smokescreen to avoid addressing the social and economic factors that lead people to use drugs. Most illegal and legal drug use is recreational. Poverty and despair are at the root of most problematic drug use, and it's only by addressing these underlying causes that we can considerably decrease the number of problematic users. Progress is certainly slow right now, but there is an unprecedented momentum behind drug policy reform right now. We are looking towards a future where drug policies are shaped by science and compassion rather than political hysteria. Just decriminalize all the drugs, educate the people on them, provide rehabilitation efforts for the sick, and allow Americans to make the right decision for themselves. I mean, isn't that what freedom is all about?